I've got maybe 6 years till I retire, and lately I've realized something about myself. I keep waiting to have my life back. I keep saying I'll do that when I retire. I may have told you that I write YA books, young adult books. Well, book at this point, I've written the first one in a series, and I got it published. I even did a really cool book signing, social media, all that stuff. And then life happened, and I thought, I'm going to go back to the original plan and just do this when I retire. And I stopped doing any of that. Unfortunately, that means that nobody's going to care about it by the time I get to it. I'm not even sure I still care about it. That is just one example of the things I've been putting off to retirement. But after my last video, I realized there are a surprising number of things I'm waiting to do that actually don't require me to be retired. 2 conversations with high school friends have been pulling at me lately. Last week I told you about lunch with a friend who said she was ready for retirement. She was tired of running from thing to thing. She just wanted to sleep in sometimes, do yoga, and just live. Then I thought about a conversation I had years ago with a guy friend from high school who's doing really, really cool things to change his life. And I'll tell you more about those cool things. But the short version is, he didn't care so much about retirement. He liked his job. He just wanted more control over his time and how he spent it. And I have learned so much from both of these people. One determined to slow down and smell the roses, I guess, and enjoy her peace, and unashamedly saying that out loud. Really excited to just move on to that part of the retirement life. And the other one, adding more to each of his days without retiring from his actual day job. I realized I don't want one or the other. I don't want just peace in retirement and the other one agency over their time during their day job. I want both. My ideal retirement includes both a slower pace and having more time to do all the stuff I'm dreaming of. So let me ask you what I've been asking myself. What are you waiting until retirement to do? What is your version of my book series? So we've discussed in past videos that I cannot retire as early as I'd like. So how do we get more control over our time to do the things while we're working? This is what I've been asking myself, and this is what I've come up with. I've been thinking, where am I throwing away my time in the evenings? You come home in the evenings and there are just a few hours between home and bed. What are you doing with that time? Family, dinner, workouts, housework, all vying for your attention. What do you do and what do you prioritize? And the one thing I've struggled with is doing none of those valuable things, but scrolling mindlessly while I eat dinner, let's say. Oh, I'm just gonna look real quick. And that becomes the entire time and almost time for bed. People get paid millions of dollars to keep you scrolling so that you will shop, so that they've got your eyes there. They get paid millions of dollars and they are very good at their jobs. I was becoming victim to that, and it's something I have really had to cut off. As a matter of fact, I don't put much stuff on Instagram about this channel because once I do, then I have to check it and then I'm into it and then I'm the zombie scrolling. That's actually the same with TV. You know, TV was invented so that you would watch commercials. So those same people that get those millions, they've got a way to, even though commercials are fewer, they have got you there. It's like flickering lights, shiny objects, keeps you there. Same with gaming. Their job is to keep you there so that you spend money doing that. Nothing wrong with any of those things, but they can cause you to waste time so you don't get to do the things that you actually want to do. Occasionally, it's important that we all waste some time, right? Everything doesn't have to be so go, 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 or meaningful, do this, do this. But don't do it mindlessly. Do it mindfully in a way that you want to do, that it feels like you got to choose that instead of some millionaire making you scroll. Okay, enough of that. So now that you've stopped wasting that time, you could now write, you meaning me, could now write that book. Take a little time. I don't have to write the whole thing in 2 months. I can take a little time and write 1 page or keep up with the skill of writing. I haven't done it in so long. I don't remember how to do that. And don't use AI, but that's another conversation. Research your topic and research more of what I want to put into said books later. Work on your outline. That takes forever. If retirement means getting healthier, I definitely don't want to wait 6 years to do that. So let's get on it. Let's get on it. That's my treadmill right there. If retirement means traveling for you, maybe the big trip is out for a while and you can't be gone for a month, but maybe weekend trips start to be more meaningful. If retirement means slowing down for you, maybe it starts with lingering over a cup of coffee instead of inhaling it on the drive to work. So that was at home. Where are you giving away your time at work? One phrase that gets bandied about a lot is quiet quitting. And honestly, I hate that. Mostly because there's nothing quiet about the way GenX is going to quit. But if you stop overgiving to the office, you're going to have more emotional bandwidth for yourself. You know you do it. I do it. Obviously, I'm not advocating for you to suddenly be bad at your job and be a slacker. You just don't need to keep doing other people's work for them. And we tend to do that because we're like, oh, it's easier for me to just do it than to teach you how. And you don't have to listen every time Vicky from downstairs wants to stretch her legs and distract you for a half an hour talking about everything and nothing. One thing I'll give millennials credit for is that they are much better at setting work boundaries. I've learned a lot from them. They are just nice and matter of fact about their boundaries. They stay home when they're sick. They leave work on time. And when they're off on vacation, you cannot get a hold of them. And I really have been trying to emulate some of those boundaries. And I'm in solidarity with them on that and the no-show socks thing. Our generation was just raised differently, partly by the boomer bosses we had that instilled fear in us. But we've discussed this before. We got it all done. We were team players, no matter our fever, or the only time I was ever guilt-free about missing work was my back totally went out and I could not get off the floor. And I still felt like maybe I could be doing something. But anyway, on our vacation days, didn't matter. We still were working. Our maternity leaves, nobody else seemed to be volunteering for stuff. So we did all that stuff. And it's time to just go, we're not quiet quitting. We're just stopping the nonsense, stopping the doing that other stuff that other people aren't doing. I'm not sure I'll leave this in here, but I just did 4 years of a kind of voluntary elected position that I loved. I was very good at it because I cared and I was super into it. And then the year I stopped doing it, they couldn't get anybody else, younger people, to do it. So they started stipending it, like $4,000 a year. So I was a little bitter about that. I'm still bitter. And I did it for 4 years. So $16,000 that other people are getting for doing whatever. Okay. So it is really hard to stop just doing it yourself because it's easier than teaching somebody else how to do it mentality. So this is one thing I've been doing is instead of saying yes immediately, I've been saying, take a deep breath and say, let me check my calendar and get back to you. And sometimes just waiting the 24 hours is enough that I realize I don't really want to say yes. And I can say, oh, I can't fit that in. I'm sorry. It's harder than you think. So basically, my version of quiet quitting is doing a really good job at my job, not everybody else's, and not worrying about everybody else. And I've begun using my lunchtime actually to do something I want to do, like take a little walk or read or even write. I say that I've started to do that. I keep saying I'm going to do that, but I haven't quite started the writing at lunch, partly because people talk to you wherever they find you. So I get really distracted too easy. So I'm trying to not just sit and chit chat. So my quiet quitting is using my time wisely. That sounds so silly. I should have always been doing that. But here I am, 59, still learning some stuff. That brings me back to the other conversation I told you about. A few years ago, I started a series on this channel called I Could Do That. It was going to be about ordinary people who built interesting lives around things they loved. So I immediately thought of this guy I went to high school with. He was the first person I interviewed, and his name is Alan. By day, he has a regular city job. But because he loved live music And he talked to the local newspaper lady about letting him review concerts and put in a piece about them as he went. And I guess it took some convincing. And yet, when he did it, people loved it. They responded well. So she said he could do a regular feature. And that led into interviewing bands, ultimately a radio show and a podcast. And if you'd like to hear his whole story, if I can figure out how to do it, I'll link the video up above. It's super interesting. And it was just because he wanted to do those things. Pushed forward an idea and ran with it. I mean, he's like friends with these people. He used to go to their concerts, and now their managers send him tickets and want to make sure they have sit down time with the band because he is so well known in this area. It's so cool. Back when we did that interview, I think it's interesting. Alan was like, I'm not even interested in retiring. I'm not sure I'll be able to do that anytime soon. And it didn't bother him because he didn't wait until retirement to become the person he wanted to be. He wasn't like me pushing it all off until that day. And I keep thinking about that. Retirement may give us more time, but maybe we can start reclaiming pieces of the life we want to live by living a little more like our retired selves today. So I'd love to hear from you today. What's the one thing you're waiting until retirement to do? And is there one small piece of it you could start now? I'd love to steal your ideas. Please share. I'd love to hear your ideas in the comments. Together, we're building a life we love. I'm GenX Missy. Until next time.